I don't know about you, but one of the highest degrees of leadership that I see, that I really value, are leaders that show a high degree of character. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes, but those that really strive to show the highest of character are the people that I'm willing to follow, to serve under, to vote for. And last week, I introduced you to one of the most impactful quotes in this that I've ever heard. It was from Admiral James Stavridis, retired Admiral James Stavridis, where he said that leadership is a big door, but it's a big door that swings on the small hinge of character. Hi, everyone. Chris NATZKE here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. Leadership is a big door that swings on the small hinge of character. So last week I introduced this concept because I felt it was so important for us to discuss at this time, particularly in the situations that we find ourselves in our world today. And what I did my best to do was to actually create an acronym out of the word character, which is no easy task because there's 9 letters. So last week I introduced the first 5 of those letters, which I felt were very, very attributable to high quality leaders. And the C stood for a commitment to serve. That people who are the best leaders that I've ever observed in my life are the ones that are truly, truly committed to serving others from their position. The H stood for honoring your word, honoring their word. So what that meant is knowing that we would make mistakes in trying to always keep our word, but when we mess up, make sure we honor it, make sure we clean it up, make sure we do our very best to not repeat those patterns. A stood for attainment. It was creating a distinction between attainment and accomplishment. So what attainment became is the combination of accomplishment with becoming, who we become as a better person through our accomplishments. And if we're not elevating ourselves through our accomplishments, we don't have attainment. Number next was R, or letter next was R, and that was about rising to the occasion, particularly when things are difficult. What we really find in the true character of leaders is not when things are going well, but when things are challenging. We see the best of them and the worst of them. And then the second A was about admitting mistakes and then doing what you can do to correct them. For me, when I see a leader who's vulnerable and saying that they've made a mistake, but they have a plan for correcting it, a plan for leading people through difficult times, those are the people that I admire and choose to follow. So anyway, what are the next 4 letters? Well, the next one, my friends, if you haven't been following along, it's a C, okay? So, and that C stands for capability. Now, what do I mean by this? Within the coaching world, within the leadership world, we have a high degree of holding people accountable for their actions, for their words, for the things that they said they're going to do. And my good friend Kellyanne Zelinsky turned me on to this concept that rather than holding people accountable, which sometimes might seem a little bit judgmental, we hold them capable. We hold them to be the very best they can be based on what their potential is and what they've shared, what they want to have happen in their lives. And so what ends up happening is we have a much higher degree of positivity in terms of holding them to the highest ceiling that we can, because we're going to hold them capable to being the very best they can be. And that's what I've seen in great leaders. The next letter is T, and that's treating everyone with respect, particularly those that are least important to us. I've always loved the story, and I'm going to give you my own version of it. It's a college professor. I believe he's a law school professor. He's teaching a class at night in front of a big auditorium. And throughout the semester, he's been talking about the importance of treating people with respect and getting to know individuals. And they come in for their final exam. And the very last question on the test, which is worth 10% of the test, is, what is the name of the nighttime custodian or janitor that works here? Boom, right? Are you treating everyone that you encounter with respect? Are you having conversations with them? Are you getting to know people, even those that are quote unquote least important to you? That to me is a sign of a great leader who's showing great character. The next letter is E, and that stands for envision the best in others. Now, this is somewhat around that same idea of capability, but one of the ideas that I want to talk about here is when I had my martial arts school, one of the things that I would constantly tell my staff is anytime there was a new student, is to envision in them already being a black belt. See the best in them. What are the qualities that they already have that we can build off of? And what are the qualities that you can help them develop so they can become a solid black belt and a solid citizen? And when we begin to look for the best in others, you know what? We see the best in others. When we look for not the best in others, we tend to see that, the opposite of that as well. So envisioning the best in others, helping them see what's best for them. Sometimes people don't even know what their potential is, but being able to see that, be a witness for that, and communicate that to them. And then finally, we're going to go around this whole idea. The final R is respect others. Now, not only respect them as we did in treating others with respect, but when we're encountering others, when we're in communication with others, making sure that we're respecting their time, respecting their point of view, respecting their struggles that they're going through. Some of the best leaders that I've been around are the ones that treat people with respect, not only just as an employee or a follower, but they treat them with respect as a human being. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't hold them to a standard, and it doesn't mean that if they're in a mode of negativity that you don't call it out, but what you do is you respect them as human beings. So there you have it, my friends. There are my final 4 elements of character and leadership. And I'm just going to review them all one more time. So maybe there's 1, 2, or maybe more that you might want to up-level a little bit in your life. I know I'm looking at this as well and saying, where could I do a better job on these? So just spelling out that word character is commit to serve, honor your word, be focused on attainment versus accomplishment, rise to the occasion when challenges occur, admit when you're wrong and do what you can to correct it, hold people capable, treat others with respect, envision the best in others and hold them to that standard, and finally, respect others' time, respect their challenges, respect their points of view. So there you have it, my friends. There's my little take on the importance of character within leadership, remembering that leadership is a big door that swings on the small hinge of character. So thanks so much for listening. This has been Chris NATZKE with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.